Hey guys, welcome in to another edition of Inside the Hornet's Nest. My name is Jeff Beavers. That little cube over there is my co-host, Miss Donna Bowles. And we are extremely excited to have our special guests on this morning Inside the Hornet's Nest. Donna, will you tell us who we have today?
Yes, it is my pleasure to do so. We have been just waiting to get, I don't want to say an interview. We've just been excited to sit down and talk with this family for quite some time and just waiting for a good time for them to do that. So we'd like to welcome this morning Leisha and Jay Hairston and their amazing, incredible son, Eli. So welcome y'all this morning. We were talking before, but everybody should know Eli's story, but I know there are some people that don't. So let's go back to November 16th. And I mean, we're coming up on 6 months, and the progress that he has made, I don't think anybody thought 6 months ago that he would be where he is today. And Eli, you have just blown us away. Everybody. Not just people in Chelsea, but doctors, professionals. Nobody thought you would be where you are today. So let's go all the way back to November 16th. So, parents, tell us what happened. Tell us where you were. What happened?
This was Saturday, November the 16th. We were at home, just kind of hanging out, normal Saturday. Eli left to go spend some time with some friends, ride a golf cart, and maybe 45 minutes later, one of those boys rang the doorbell. I went and answered it, and he said, Eli had an accident on the golf cart, and I said, okay, where is he? He said, by the elementary school. And you think an accident on a golf cart, maybe he fell off, got his foot rolled over, broken arm, and he said, he's by the middle school. And at that point we heard an ambulance, or elementary school. At that point we heard an ambulance, and the boy told me that ambulance is for Eli. So I knew it was pretty severe at that point. I just sprinted, got in my car, drove to the school. And when I got there, the ambulance was already there. Eli was in the back, and somehow he had one shoe on, one shoe off. So I'm not sure what happened there, but I put my hand on his the sock shoe, the foot with no shoe on. I said, hey buddy, are you okay? And the paramedic said, he's not responding. And I said, is he breathing? And he said, no sir, we're breathing for him right now. And I just started praying. Knew it was pretty serious at that point. By then, Leisha got there, kind of told her what was going on. They were on the radio with the air flight to determine, can they send a helicopter out in time or not? And I think they determined that by the time the helicopter got there, loaded him, and got back to Children's, it would be quicker to go by ground. And so we just went, and took about 24 minutes to get from Chelsea Park Elementary School to Children's Hospital. We went back into, they took him to an OR prep room in the emergency room. They wouldn't let us go in there. And a doctor came out and gave me this iPad, basically, and on there was information about the surgery they were going to have to perform. And he wanted me to sign consent forms, and he said, I can't promise you that he'll make it through the surgery, but I can promise you if we don't get him back, he won't make it. So I signed off on it, immediately. They took him back for about almost a 4-hour surgery, about 3.5 hours. And then came out, called us back to I don't know what you would call that room. What would you call it? Like a little side room where you would talk to a family. And he kind of told us that they were through the surgery. Eli made it through the surgery. He was in recovery. No, you were not awake. You were in what's called recovery, just kind of resting at that point. And he gave us some prognosis for survival at that point, what he thought his odds were, and told us, wait a little bit and we'll take you upstairs to the ICU floor. That's where he'll go. And so a few minutes later, they were going to take Eli up there. They let us ride the elevator with him and go up there. We saw him briefly, and then they had us in the waiting room while they were preparing his room, and that was probably another, maybe 45 minutes or so, and then we finally got to go back and see him. And the first thing that happened when we got into his room was he got sick. So they had to take us out, clean him up, clean his bed, all that, and we finally got to go in there, and at that point he was in a medically induced coma and medically paralyzed. So from Saturday until the following Thursday, he didn't really move or do a whole lot. That Thursday, they started to release the paralytic. That Friday, they started to release all of the medicine that was keeping him sedated. And so it took us almost a full week before we were able to kind of see him move in any way or do anything. Yeah, it took probably, no, he talked on December the 9th. So the accident was on November the 16th, and the first time he spoke was December the 9th. So yeah, it was a rough day for sure, that first day, and then it was followed by, he started, once they released the paralytic and the sedation, he started doing something called neurostorming, which sort of looks almost like what, if you watch movies or TV shows and you see somebody having a seizure, I've never seen it in person, so I only have that frame of reference of Hollywood, but what he would do very much mimicked that. And it's really scary. It's hard to watch. The longest one he had lasted about 13 minutes, so it's hard to watch somebody go through that. But they kept telling us, look, he won't remember this. He won't know this happening. It's harder for you than it is him, which seems kind of
terrifying to watch.
Yeah, it's not easy to see that, but but he doesn't remember it. So that's really good. So he had about 2 weeks or so worth of neurostorming, and then eventually that stopped, and he had a period of time where he could only face the right and he couldn't move his eyes. They only looked toward the right. So we had that struggle of, do we always stand on his right so that he can see us, hear us? Yeah, all visitors were on the right side. Or do we move over to the left side to kind of force him to turn his head? Just a lot of challenges. Like every decision was not an easy decision. So, but eventually he slowly started making a little bit of progress, moving his head a little bit, building some strength to hold his head up. December the 9th, he started speaking again. Very deliberate. It took a lot of energy to speak. I think it was probably the 7th of December, he started kind of being able to open and close his hand a little bit. So for a period of a few days there, we just started seeing little things just tick off, move his hand, start to speak, move his eyes, answer questions. It's like every day there was sort of started looking on the left side of him probably middle of December. He started having that head flexibility, probably 15th, 16th of December. Started getting some flexibility, being able to move his head. His older brother, Sam, was visiting with him in the hospital and was on his right side, and just slowly started moving towards the end of the bed and then towards the left side of the bed, and just keep talking to Eli, and Eli just kept kind of following him at that point. So you got to tell Sam thanks for that one, I guess. But we had Thanksgiving, our anniversary, Christmas, New Year's, Leisha's birthday.
40th birthday.
Yeah, Leisha's 40th birthday, Eli's 14th birthday. We watched the Super Bowl in the hospital, so we had a lot of things kind of ticked off while he was in the hospital. But he was released on everything's November.
February the 6th.
February the 6th, he got to come home, and February the 8th, we let him try to walk up the stairs, and Sam and I helped him, and Leisha timed him. We wanted a baseline of how long does it take him to get from the main level to upstairs where his room is. I think the first time it took him 2 minutes and 34 seconds to get up the stairs. There's 16 stairs. You can kind of see them behind us. And it was about 2 minutes and 34 seconds. And then within a month, he had that down to a minute and seconds, which was, pretty great. And then I think the most recent time we did it was maybe 48 seconds or something.
It was in a minute.
Close to 50 seconds. So he's just steadily making progress on that. And that's a lot of that is strength building in his legs, and a lot of that is just stamina, being able to go longer without needing to take a break.
Did everything just seem to kind of slow down and like you were in a dream the entire time?
It was pretty much like a blur.
Yeah.
I really don't remember the car ride from Chelsea Park to Children's Hospital. I remember just not being able to breathe. I could breathe and trying to contact everyone
I
who
remember the Hornet.
I do. My friend was driving me there, and our horn wasn't quite working, and so we were just trying to get down 280 as fast as we could, and she's trying to blow her horn, and she has on her flashers, and so the horn would just make this crazy sound. But really about all I remember about that.
That's always the funny part.
Yeah, that's.
So yeah, to kind of expand on your statement about did it feel like a blur, in a lot of ways it did, and time sort of would drag. Again, those days would go by slow, but the weeks would go by pretty fast. Which I guess when you're in the hospital for almost 12 weeks, it'll do that. At some point, those things start to clip off pretty quickly.
I want to ask you about the community and just how you felt as far as being surrounded by just not just Chelsea, but so many communities, towns, cities, states. People from all over were praying for your family and for Eli. And how that affected not just the way you felt, but it literally affected his progress, and how it affected the way his caretaker saw his progress in the hospital. Tell us how that went in the hospital, because I know his prognosis wasn't that good in the beginning, and everybody just started being amazed, like, he's doing so well, he's achieving way far more than what they thought. How did that affect everybody?
Go ahead.
I don't.
I think just having so many people that are praying.
Feels good.
Yeah, for sure. It feels good.
The community behind us, it's been amazing. I remember once Eli was stable enough for me to start coming back and forth to the hospital, I would leave pretty late from the hospital to come home and spend a little bit of time with the other kids, stay at home with them, and then drop them off at school and head back to the hospital the next day. Well, I remember one night coming home and seeing a big billboard that lit up that said, "Pray for Eli." And I just had to pull over because I was just like, that's my Eli. And it was overwhelming, because I was just like, how, it just didn't feel real that was my son.
Yeah.
But, and just seeing everyone who's commented on his Praying for Eli page, like, we would have a really hard day, and I would see a comment that was like someone saying what an inspiration he was to them, and how he's changed their prayer life, and how, just everything. And then it just, I don't know, it just felt, it helped lift our spirits a ton throughout the whole process. And it still does, because he's doing amazing, but we still have sad moments too, and hard moments too. So it's helped get us through a lot. And the hospital staff, we can't say enough amazing things about them. we feel like they're part of our family.
But my question to you, Eli, is where you are right now, what still frustrates you the most?
Side.
Really? And what, I know you're continuing to work because I see you on Facebook shooting the basketball, throwing the football, and everything I'm assuming that the doctors told you guys early on, you're absolutely crushing it. So do you look back on situations like that and think, well, it may be frustrating now, but I got this because I've come so far that no one thought that I could in the first place?
He's asking you that.
That's the question.
The question is, do you look back at how far you've come, and do you get confidence from that and build strength from that?
I do.
Well, I know. I mean, I can tell that that you're a fighter, and you still bring inspiration to all of us. All you guys do.
Eli, I want to tell you, I know people have encouraged you along the way, but I want to tell you, if you don't know this already, that you are a miracle. Your life is a miracle, and you are going to touch people's lives for years and years to come. And I just am really excited to be able to watch that, to be able to have, to be a spectator, to just see where your life goes and just how many people get to experience what you've gone through, and just to see your faith and your family, and just to grow their faith through your story. Because, you know, I've always, I believe that God doesn't make accidents. You know, He has a reason, and we don't always understand it, but He has a reason for this. And I think it is just, we are just now seeing a tiny bit of what your life is going to be. And I believe it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see what He does with you. It's going to be amazing.
Thank you.
So, guys, we certainly appreciate you coming on the show. We know that with everything that's going on with the lockdown, it's, you know, even though people don't have much to do, there's still plenty to do. But we appreciate your time that you've given us. Real quick though, is there anything that you guys need from us as the community?
I would just say continued prayers.
We are believing for a complete recovery for him.
And hey,
He said
We
it
are
on-
too.
we're the same way, and we continue to pray for you guys. And you know, Eli, you keep pushing. You keep it. Like I've told a lot of these seniors, I tell my boys the same time. There's going to be times in life where you're going to fall, but just make sure you fall forward and get up after the process.
Right. Yeah. Hey, Eli, before we go, what is your favorite thing to do right now that you're in quarantine? You're not having to go to Chelsea Middle School. What's your favorite thing to do?
Get better.
There
Get
you go.
better. You know, that's so encouraging. Probably most kids would say, you know, go outside and play, but some might say get on Netflix or play, you
My
know.
brothers would say play video games.
There you go. There you go. But, you know, that's good to get better. See, that just is proof that you just have that drive in you. And we are praying for that. So we just encourage the whole community just to continue to pray for Eli. And every time you see his face, a video on Facebook, just to remember that this guy is just continuing to fight. So just continue to be in prayer for him. And let's just continue to lift up this family.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. You guys have a
Thank you.
good rest of the week. Take care.
Thank you.